that being said, hello everyone. Welcome to the episode of the Capcom
No.
Podcast.
You're not gonna. We need uh, oomph to the opening, Cameron. Come on. I know we're feeling down.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the episode of the Capcom Podcast. I'm Cameron.
Yeah, Justin. Yeah. Hi.
Dr. Spanks a lot.
Yeah. Oh, a lot.
And
yeah.
welcome to this episode. We've been having a lot of technical difficulties today, but we are here and we are strong. Yippee.
We are here streaming live from Pandora. You could tell by the blue and all that.
The blue.
Oh, you changed from your holiday outfits. We're releasing 2 different episodes in an opposite order, which is important context for me to be able to note that in our following episode at the end, we hear from Anthony where he lets us know that Avatar: Fire and Ash is an S tier movie. And boy, oh boy, do I wish we had that perspective here with us.
But we don't
today.
And that's sad. And I think we still have a good range though from our last discussion.
You got an A,
so
B,
I'm
and a C,
excited.
it sounds like.
A, B, C. It's as easy as 1, 2,
It's
3.
the one time you'll hear actual ratings from me, I suppose. But yes, this week we were talking about.
Wait, no, it's Fire and Ash, on Ash and Fire. It's okay. It's okay.
It's, you know what, it happens, and we'll forgive you. Here's I like to start with, y'all, tell us about your Avatar journey. Are you Avatar heads yourselves? Bring us through your experience before this movie.
You want to start, Jack, or should I?
I can start. Yeah, that's easy. I really liked the first 2 films. Really, really liked them. They're so cool to look at, and they were new, and they were fresh, and they were original, and I really, really liked the first 2. A lot of people have their complaints. They say, "Oh, there's no cultural significance. Name a character, this, that, and the other thing." I never found that because I engaged with the characters. I liked them. Unfortunately, this film did not make me feel the same way, did not have the same impact on me. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll still go see the next one, but this is finally the first chink in the armor as far as I'm concerned, because I felt the first 2 were really good.
I like the first one a lot. I also think there's an aura around Avatar that, like, just interestingly just exists, right? Like,
That's true.
It is the second movie of all time, I believe, that made $1 billion, and it's another James Cameron movie. And it's like, okay, so this film had some significance. I believe I just checked it today. I think it already made $300 million at the box office. No, am I wrong? No,
$500,000.
Made a lot of money at the box office. Was 300 million? Was 300,000? Anyway,
it would be in the millions, bud.
It's certainly
right. I'm not crazy. It is
345 million on Thursday previews.
So. One day it's gonna make that first million, and I'm gonna be so proud of it.
Yeah,
it made 345 opening weekend global.
Yeah, and so globally is where it gets the lion's share. They love it in China. They fuck heavily with Avatar in China. So you get a lot of money overseas.
I really like the first one. The second one I watched this film and went, okay, it's been 13 years, so we have a lot of similar themes, but it's okay. We can watch it and it's gonna be fine. And then I am with Jack. I'm like, I feel like we've heard this story before, and like, we'll go through this a little bit more. But you need to justify a 3-hour, 15-minute runtime without a break, to me. Like, the runtime is one thing, but there's no break in between. And I think that needs some sort of justification. And my TLDR of this film is just like, you haven't justified to me why you need to be this long.
Experience, Cam. I feel like if there's a bit in the middle where it says, time to take out your phones and stretch those leggies. I might take me out a little bit, maybe. But that's a personal thing. That's a personal little thing.
But this is not. But like, this is not like a precedent thing. It's like movies have existed before with breaks. A lot of films have existed with breaks. The Brutalists had a break.
Yeah, I think if you do it right, you just have to make sure it's between acts, and I guess there's a time and a place. I see where Justin's coming from. Like, yeah, it'll take you out of the action, but I mean, it's 3 hours and 15 minutes is a long movie, and whereas the last one I think was like 2 hours and 45, it was close to 3 hours. It felt like it went faster, where this one did drag for me a little bit.
Drag a lot,
and that's because what Cameron said. I mean, we've heard this story before. I mean, it's for all intents and purposes an extension of the second film. And so if it's going to take you 6 hours to tell a story, you got to keep everybody engaged. And I feel like there were times where it kind of brought me out.
I can't even say this is an extension of the last story because I feel like it's the exact same story.
I mean, it's basically the same movie. I don't even know if they upped the stakes, and they just, instead of just going after the one where, almost, I caught myself. Yeah, it's the same story. They added a couple new characters. I thought the new characters they added were great. I just wish I saw more of them.
Yeah. All right, do we want to go to spoilers?
No, it's too early for spoilers. 2 hours for spoilers.
I could start saying
get across
things.
some ideas.
Maybe
Justin,
I say.
Do you want to give a?
I didn't. You all did your backgrounds and your feelings. I've done nothing so far. So
please give us your background, your feeling, my friend.
Come on. These are the basics. No, yeah, I love the first one when it came out. I watched it quite a few times within like its first year of coming out. That's back in 2009, right?
Yep.
Maybe like somewhere in between the 50-year hiatus between the first and second movie. I kind of fell into that rabbit hole of like it's kind of the cool thing to be like, Avatar, like what even was that? Like Jake Sully and Natuli, I don't know character names, and that's why the movie's bad or something. And then around the time that around the time the second movie came out, I revisited it. I rewatched and seeing the second one, I'm like, nah, these are fire. These are great. This is I love this world. I love being with these characters. James always knows how to keep things exciting. I think even when we are retreading some ground in the third one, he is still hitting tension hard. Like I'm having a great time with this. My impression is that I like the movie the most out of this trio, which is why I was hoping Anthony would be here because he put it at an S.
He liked the most.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the have to be the defender. That's work.
Look, here's the thing, right? James Cameron is an amazing world builder.
Jimmy's got the juice.
Amazing world builder. Truly. Create amazing worlds. And even if they're worlds we've already seen before, Titanic. Great job. I think his storytelling ability does have some handicaps. And I think now that we've seen more of the same story, you kind of can tell that James Cameron can tell a really good story and then will tell the same story again and the same story again.
Yes and no. I think
not really though. Terminator 2 is so different from Terminator 1.
This is true.
But that's more the exception rather than the rule, I would say.
I guess I don't know enough James Cameron stories. I've seen,
But I'd also say that the original Avatar film love story is the same love story as the one in Titanic.
Sure.
If we're like, and that's a nitpicky kind of thing, but like,
what, two people from different worlds come together?
Yeah.
Situation.
Well, when you have this Avatar premise, it's hard to not go with that love story. But I think while we have a very consistent lore here in terms of the themes that these movies are trying to convey, and the types of stories it wants to tell in a grand scope. And while I do think those are very similar between especially the second and the third movie, I do think the interpersonal stories have their own spice to them this time around. So I think that variation is enough for me. Yes, I think a lot of the comparison between the movies comes from the fact that we're in the same location as the second one, and therefore we are having large scale battle sequences that that inherently are going to feel similar because we're using the same elements, and we're primarily talking about one larger section of each movie that I won't be so specific on until we hit.
But they're naval battles for all intents and purposes. Where the original was set in a forest, and the big fight scene is in the forest,
right?
And then now the second one takes Way of the Water. It takes place on the water, so it's just such a different.
Right, it's very much an extension of the.
We're exploring the geography of Pandora more, so everything's new and fresh. And then now in this one, the big battle takes place in the same spot, so it just feels a little.
And I'll have a lot more to say about that once we hit spoilers. But I agree. When you have such a long action sequence, that variety goes such a long way between the movies. Right. But in a broad sense, I love these characters. I'm intrigued by the world. I don't mind the runtime because I like hanging out in Pandora, and I want to see what happens.
I think the other major thing for me is, and this might just be a me thing. I don't like the CGI.
I love it. I think
it's great. What do you mean?
I got vertigo from it in the movies.
Occasionally during flying sequences, I feel like it was moving really fast in a way that was a little disorienting, but it didn't happen often.
I got sick in the movie.
I didn't feel that. And also, fun little Jimmy Cam fact, he consulted with neuroscientists to make this 3D, because like a lot of people's big problem with the 3D is it causes headaches and it gets
sure.
So we actually consulted with neuroscientists during the making of this to make sure that it was, for lack of a better word, easy on the eyes. And I didn't feel dizzy or anything like that. I had a fine time with it.
I didn't. I usually don't have issues. This time I did. And also I think I don't appreciate, you can tell that this film is not in a regular 24 frame rate. The action feels smoother. Not the biggest fan of that either. I think this film looks too much. This film tries to look like a video game. And I think I just also have something personally just wrong, like a personal issue with that. And like that's on me, that's fine. But like like, I don't know, it's just, for me, it's like if I go to a movie theater and spend 30 euros on a film, this is not what I expect for $30.
Well,
and I think
you have a movie pass?
I do, but like,
so you didn't spend 30 euros. So you didn't spend 30 euros on the film.
We want your experience, Cameron. We don't want a theoretical other person's experience.
Yeah. You can't
just
put yourself in someone else's mind. You spent $20 for the month and you saw 4 movies.
All right, my mom paid $30 for this movie because she came with me.
Okay, there we go.
And we'll bring her on as a guest to speak on this.
And as someone who loved the franchise, even she was disappointed in this film.
So my issues stem from a completely different space from you, because I thought visually, it was gorgeous. I like Justin. I love spending time in Pandora. And I think my problem was I wish that we had spent time somewhere else, because like I said,
I agree.
The first one, you're in the forest. The second one's the Way of the Water. And we kind of, a lot of the time, we were in the same location. Whereas my favorite thing is like exploring this planet because it's so cool. And there's so many different tribes. And I just wish we had kind of explored a little bit more. But my real issue with the film, and the thing that bothers me the most, is the dialogue. And
that's rough.
Specifically, that's so rough. The dialogue of Spider. He looks the part, but he's not a good actor. I don't know if it's the writing or his delivery, but it is tough for me. And that's really the thing that I had the most trouble getting past, was some of the dialogue was a little painful for me.
I agree. I agree.
Visually, I loved it. But the dialogue.
But see, I think all of those issues together bring me to my conclusion of like I hope that 4 is masterfully different. Because
I
again,
could
yes,
a time skip would be nice.
I'm
yeah.
ju- yeah, I mean,
But like a new topic, a new thing, have a new right, like have a new ending, have a like I feel like every single time it's how do I not spoil this?
You want a new big bad.
I want a new yeah, I think that's the main one. The
Yeah,
big bad
you
is the
want a new
same one
big
as
bad.
this one,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
I
feel
get that.
like has a very similar arc to the last movie.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah, you
like,
want a new big
okay,
bad,
that's
and I want
cool.
a new big bad too. I'm there with you because
And
this
I
isn't.
thought we'd have something interesting in this new character, in the leader of the fire tribe.
Loved her,
But
loved
she was
her.
really cool. I think she wasn't always prevalent enough as Big Bad.
Right, we could have used
And
more
that's
fire, more ash.
yeah,
that's
for the
fair.
fact that you called the
Um,
fire an ash. Not enough
Um,
fire, not enough ash.
Now, fun little tidbit while we're on the fire and ash concept. Jimmy Cans, he got the idea for the fire tribe by a trip he made in 2012 to Papua New Guinea, where he visited this what are they called, the Baining. I hope I don't butcher it. I think it's the Baining clan in Papua New Guinea, and they live on top of this mountain in solidarity. You can't get there by car. You can get there like halfway by car, and then you have to hike it. And they do these festivals where they make these massive 30 feet bonfires, and then they kick the fire and stuff to create like explosions. And they have fire dancers, and that's actually where he got the inspiration for the Fire Clan for the film. Was an actual trip he took to Papua New Guinea. So that's really
Nice.
cool. But again, I could have done with more fire and more ash.
I agree. I feel like most things in this is a spoiler to some degree, so I say really just
Let's
throw
put
up
up
that.
spoilers.
We're
Yeah.
gonna throw it up. I mean, we're
We could
20
actually
minutes. We're 20
dive
minutes in.
into
I feel like we got a lot of the major thoughts out because again, the film does have cool themes. It's very anti-colonialism. It's all about let a sleeping dog lie. Why are we coming in and destroying these cultures and forcing our way of life upon them? It's very pro-environmentalist. It's like, okay, look at all the beauty, this natural beauty, and you guys want to tear it down to rip out these natural resources. There are a lot of good themes, and that's why I've loved Avatar. But I did have some problems with this one. It was nice to have that big gap between the last two. So when you saw the new one, it was new. This one, I was so excited for it. Just felt
Yeah.
like
but I feel that 2 has a lot of the same themes as 1, and 3 has basically all the same themes as 2.
correct.
And I feel like that time difference does make a difference in our perception of like, oh, that this can be new, but I think
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
saw 2.
Right.
And like I feel like we keep like having these same themes. It's like there's a couple of themes that I think are different in these new films, and
Would you like to mention?
I have Kiri's I believe that's Kiri, right? That's the avatar that was born out of the
Yes.
the kid that was born out of the avatar.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver, but like Kiri, I believe, is the name of the character.
Yeah.
Character. I think her journey in this film is excellent. I love her journey in this film. It is one of my favorite parts. I was always so excited to see her on screen.
She's great.
And then also my hot take for this film, or my question for this film, since avatars are owned by the Walt Disney Company, is Kiri technically Disney princess?
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Yeah, the answer is yes. Yeah. Anyway, so you didn't mention a theme just now, but
No. So okay, sorry. The theme is this idea of finding oneself and questioning your beliefs. And going.
Yeah, self-discovery and where you kind of fit in the world.
Faith is huge here. What I find really interesting about this movie is that it's, and this might sound like a negative, but at least we talk about this concept of it's the same themes over and over. I think with this franchise, it makes sense that the anti-colonialism and environmentalism that's always going to be a part of these films, and I would never bash these movies for hitting those same themes every time. But to talk about the themes distinct to this movie, because I think the faith one is very interesting, but it's interesting, this movie, because it's all framed in the very, very beginning around. It's part of Lowak's narration. The fire, that the anger represented by fire, and grief represented by ash, and that's part of the very, very beginning. Um, it's a weird movie in that I feel like the first half does a really good job of beginning to explore these themes of grief and how faith plays into it, and anger that can be taken out in these extreme situations, ways in which tragedy could happen, and as a result of tragedy, we allow ourselves to let worse things happen following tragedy. You see it as a result of their son's death in the previous movie, and how it ripples into this movie and through many different characters. You see it in how the Ash Clan came to be as a result of what happened to their civilization. And you see so much of that in the first half, and that's why I love the first half of this movie. I think it does a really interesting job tying all these ideas together. We do kind of, I don't feel like the second half, or at least like the last third, really pays off these concepts in a particularly satisfying way. Like we drift away from the Ash Clan in terms of the storytelling. Quaritch isn't like super tied in to this particular thing. He brings up his late wife, who also died in the first movie's final battle.
In one scene, though.
That's why it's a brief. I'm not saying it's I'm dazzled.
I did like that tidbit about Spider's mom.
Yeah.
And how she's
that was interesting.
I did like that. But to touch on what you said, it's like they started with this concept of this fire and ash, and okay, our village burnt down, but from that we built this, right? But then in the final act, they fall back to this like, okay, but it's really all about the Tulkun and how are we going to extract this chemical from these whales, and we already did that. So I feel like they used that as a crutch where they should have kept.
This film should have. I'll tell you how I feel this film could have still kept with every single story beat up until even through the fight, and come out better for me. The Ash Clan gets basically this film's arc is the Ash Clan basically being abused through their grief to create more fire, and then realizing the mess they've made.
Yeah.
But they do not have that in this film.
No. In fact, they're going to come back. Well, she had an almost come to Jesus moment because she quite literally met Jesus.
Yeah, and that's a very interesting concept there.
You know what I mean? And she because she was so, because due to her grief and due to her, her trauma, anytime she linked with someone, she was completely able to dominate them because she's just so mentally tough. And then all of a sudden, she linked with someone who scared her for all intents and purposes. And I am interested to see where that goes. That is one. And again, it's the Fire and Ash storyline that I'm most excited about, if that's the right word, because she was terrified and just got out of there. So that was cool.
Also, do we think the Colonel's actually dead, or will he be back?
No, that's absolutely not.
And that's so annoying to me.
It's so annoying.
He had the same fucking arc. It is the same arc from the last movie.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
The things that they're talking to him about in this movie were not things they were talking to him about in the first movie.
No, but his basic arc. He comes in trying to kill Jack Sully. Jack Sully tries to convince him, but the Na'vi aren't bad. And look, here's your son. And then he gets his son. Him and his son have one brief conversation. And then Spider kind of breaks himself free. Colonel finds his son again, almost kills Jack Sully, but then gets into a mishap as a result. And it's the same exact line. It happens twice. And I'm like, if I had a nickel for every time this storyline happened, I'd have 2 nickels. And it's not a lot.
The emotional storyline isn't there. The stuff about him being a clone and being able to be his own individual is entirely separate in terms of the conversations the movies are having. And I think
it's inconsequential.
I think this movie has the more interesting usage of the character.
But the main
I agree, but also they already told the 2 hour and 45 minute story that wasn't as interesting, and so now it's like, okay, we have to fix that.
If this would have been episode
why are we complaining about
2,
something
I would
being
have been a lot more
better?
happy.
Why would we complain about that?
Because it's not better enough, and then at the end of the day, he still almost died, but he's alive. And it's like that's
Well, yeah, we
that's
gotta.
a problem.
And he also doesn't come to
That's becoming a
salvation.
problem.
He doesn't
That's becoming a
change.
problem.
This
Well,
character
Cameron, that
doesn't fucking
you
change.
could complain about what I'm about to say, sure, but it's franchise thinking. They're thinking, well, that's the thing for the next movie.
Yeah, but in the next movie,
I have a really controversial take. Then, just
Okay.
get a new big bad.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was ready for a bit. Especially
No,
this guy.
After this,
my assumption is
he's not going to be bad moving forward. He'll probably turn.
He's going to become the hero come the end of the franchise.
When this was like
That's
5
taking
movies,
too long.
this would
It's
have been the
just taking
perfect
too
time
long.
to do that change.
Agreed. This was.
I disagree.
This was the
time.
This was the time to do it.
Because second movie introduced this version of the character. Third movie, we bring him through the arc here, and then fourth, you get anti-hero version, and fifth movie, you get he's the big hero.
But
so what I'm hearing is Justin rule of threes.
That's not what rule of threes means, and you know that.
But
I mean, threes are satisfying, sure, but you could also argue that 2, 3, and 4 would be the 3.
Right, but that's what you're arguing.
In the next,
Okay,
that
great.
is your
So this is the
argument.
midpoint. And this feels like
But
a
I
midpoint
don't
for his
agree with
character.
that.
So what do we have a problem with here?
Change. We needn't change. It's like I feel like I keep I'm like so concerned to watch the 4th installment in 2 years. Because I'm gonna be like, if I have to watch the same 4-hour movie again, because let's be honest, it's gonna happen. If I watch the same 4-hour movie again for the 3rd time, I'm gonna lose it in the theaters.
I'd get upset. As well.
Again,
I mean,
and
listen,
look, I'm not the one that spent
prepared for
$30 on this movie,
similarities here,
but
'cause
people spend 30 actual euros to see this film, and that annoys me.
you don't complain like this about other movies. Other movies cost the same amount.
Yeah,
roughly.
No.
People paid to see Minecraft, and it also cost 30 euros.
It did not cost 30 because it's a shorter film. It cost them 20.
I don't know. Again, it's all free for me, basically, because I saw 64 movies this year, and I pay $24 a month. So look, if we love it or not, movie theaters are dying. Not on my watch.
And that's a very sad note to have, but we need to have some sort of sensibilities of like, yeah, look, this film's gonna do really well, and we're gonna get another 2 films.
Yeah, I think it'll get greenlit. I don't think it's gonna make. I don't know. It might not make as much as Way of the Water because
it already's made almost $400 million globally.
Right. Well, it's still got to get to 2 billion. Now, the thing about Avatar films is it's not really all about opening weekend because they have legs.
That's true.
Like it's gonna have a pretty long theatrical release, and even if everyone can't, like a lot of times, it's like you got to make your nut opening weekend because you're gonna have a strong drop off after that. Avatar films don't really suffer from that because you get the international market and that has legs, so it'll do fine. It's gonna make a bunch of money. Now let's talk about, while we're here, the 4th film, and it's gonna be about humans instead of because at some point I was thinking maybe they were going to try to terraform the planet so that humans can live there, because you see them with the mask and you're like, that's not sustainable. Right. But now they know that it's possible for a human to breathe that air. That's going to be the next movie, is humans figuring out how to live on Pandora without a mask.
You have the time jump after the medical advances are done.
Correct. That's my concept.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, they did enough studies on Spider to where they get it. They can reverse engineer that. Now we have a time jump to where, okay, instead of avatars per se, here's our first round of humans that we're going to set out on the planet and see how they do to colonialize this place.
Yeah. I see that being a very likely scenario here.
That'd be an interesting film. That would be an interesting concept, though.
Right. Great. Yeah.
If that's the avenue this franchise takes, I'd be super down.
Well, I mean, I was prepared to come into this movie with being able to make comparisons to the second one because James Cameron was very upfront about 3 is very much a continuation of 2, and then 4 and 5 would be their own thing. So I like, whether you call that a good thing or a bad thing, at least my mindset coming into this movie was kind of expecting this. But I was grateful for, like, we had a huge action set piece that was in a one of the human bases, and that was very unlike what we've seen in the first 2 movies. Yeah,
That's
we
true.
eventually got the sea battle that felt very reminiscent of the second movie's final battle. But if that's the worst it gets, like, I'm still intrigued. I there's still a lot more. There's different elements. I preferred the earlier action sequences over the final one for sure, because we have the battle when the first time the Ash people come and everyone's separated, and we hit these real, especially physical, but also emotional lows. You have the Jake and Spider escape sequence that is huge and very, very different. It really is just the final battle that goes on for a very long time and feels reminiscent of the second movie's final battle. And I totally get the energy drain from that.
I truly, my opinion is that it feels even broader strokes like the second film. That's my and that just and like, yeah, like I'm not gonna come into this saying, like, and I know I've been very negative about this film. This
I
isn't a
noticed.
bad movie by many means. I thought this was a well-made film. I just am annoyed because I feel like I was expecting more.
That's where I'm at too. Like, is it if it's its own standalone film? Like, it's epic in scale. It's good. My problem was that I had higher expectations because of how much I liked the first 2. So, and maybe that's on me, because maybe you don't go into movies with expectations, but sometimes that's impossible, especially with the franchise. So
no, especially with the franchise, you need to come in with expectations because you have set a precedent on movies 1 and 2. You cannot come into this going, oh well, movie 3 has nothing to do with the first 2 films. No, there has to be some sort of correlation here, right? Like there is some connection. And I feel like if this would have been the first film in this franchise, it would be a lot more positively excited about it. I also feel, right, on the other end of this, right, Avatar as a franchise was a very different film 10, 15 years ago.
Well, yeah, there's no avatars anymore. Actually, that's not true. There was 2 avatars.
No. I'm talking about the movie Avatar within the cultural zeitgeist of the world.
Okay.
Right? I feel like because why did the original Avatar film do so well on many levels? One of them was the animation, the CGI was new.
Right.
It was the highest level of CGI that we'd seen in a movie till that point.
It was like the first real 3D movie that was like, holy.
Yeah. It was the first like mainstream film that really had like a story about ecological justice and anti-colonialism in this way. It felt like a film that was groundbreaking, and I feel like that groundbreakingness has worn off now over the past 15 years. And so I feel like, Justin, for me at least, a lot of these story beats were like, I think I'm not willing to look past these story moments that maybe I should be looking past, looking that they're super similar, because I feel like we've had 15 years to have this conversation, and the world is not where it was 15 years ago. And so I go into the story going, hey, look, James Cameron wants to give me the same story again as if I didn't learn the lesson the first 2 times. And I just cannot, like, and the majority of populace most likely hasn't. But that's not because of the movie's messaging in the first one not being clear. I just feel the whole franchise as a whole is refusing to do any sort of deep dive into a little bit more of a detailed analysis in order to let some things go so that the stuff that is new can shine a little bit more.
Right, and that's where they need to. When they're going to inevitably put out a 4th one, I think they need to explore some new concepts and delve in, because we got it. We got this one. But it wasn't all negative, because there was some stuff that was really cool. Like, it started off hot, like that. The merchants.
So good! I was so excited.
The wind traders, I think they're called.
Were so so cool, and that's what
I wish we spent more time with them. Yeah,
that's what I want to see. I want to explore Pandora. I want to see these other tribes. Like they brought in the other tribes at the end.
I want a shopping
more of that.
episode for the Pandora universe.
I want more Pandora. I want to know all the different biomes. I want to know who lives there. I want to know the different clans. That's what I want. I don't care so much about the Marines anymore, and I definitely don't care about the Tulkun. And luckily, that guy's dead. The whale fisherman, he's gone. So we'll never have to see him again because I can't anymore. Justin, it's a 3-hour movie.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that. I'm like, great, make it 4. Okay.
See, if it's 4,
put a break because I was about to pee. I had to pee at the end.
I managed to not pee. I managed to not pee throughout the entire film, which was wild because we were at.
Me neither.
We're at B-Dubs.
Am I expected to wear diapers to movie theaters now? Is that what we're going with?
Just don't drink a lot before the movie. I don't know, like
that's impossible. How are you gonna not drink if you're going to B-Dubs before? It's impossible.
I get it. I get it. Here's the thing. Most scenes of this movie are awesome. Have we considered that concept?
They look awesome.
They look really cool. I still get vertigo sometimes.
Yeah, we have the a lot of the scenes about grief are really interesting at the beginning. You got the wind traders. You got the river fall scene. You have the scene with any scene starring Kiri is a really cool scene. But
yes.
let's gotta highlight Kiri and Spider's
the new Disney princess.
Any scene with look.
Hello.
I don't know if I cut out there, but any scene with the Ash leader, right? Ash leader and is it just me? Maybe it's just me.
I don't know. Did you know?
Yeah, any scene with the Ash leader and the Colonel.
Ugla Chaplin is
who
granddaughter. What? The person that plays the Ash leader is, I believe, Ugla Chaplin is her name. Like related to Charlie Chaplin, like
that's crazy.
I
know that one.
I read that online and went, "That's wild."
Her scenes with Quaritch are like so cool. Gets Quaritch high. It's a great scene. Their
fun.
Weird twisted thing together is it's not it has pieces of the one battle after another story. Not it doesn't go all out with that, but which I kind of was expecting them to dive more into the oddities there. But it helped in it sell the story of this version of Quaritch. It can be a very different person than his original counterpart.
But he doesn't end up to be. That's the annoying part. He could have changed. That's my.
I mean, did he not by the end? Did he see, like?
No, he thinks about it. Never fully.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is
listen.
Like,
this character is at a turning point because we're at the midpoint of his story. That's fine with me.
Actually, wanted to change. He wouldn't have jumped off that rock. He would have stayed there. He would have surrendered, and he would have, been prisoner, and then shown them through actions that he's willing to change. He's willing to open his eyes and see. He wasn't ready for that.
Your argument, in my opinion, falls apart in the fact that I feel he had his arc last film.
Did he? I mean,
because I felt the end of the second movie he was about to change and then he doesn't. I think that's why
I wasn't super feeling that with the second one. So
that's why I don't gel with your argument as well, because I feel like we just had the literal storyline with the literal same ending, and I'm like, okay, which is why I said rule of threes, right? It's the same line, the same line, and then you're saying the third line is going to be the same thing, but it's going to end differently, right?
Okay, so congrats, you get your rule of threes.
But I just feel in a trilogy, like in a film like this, it feels too contrived, and I feel like it doesn't land. If it's a bit, it lands. If it's something like this, I don't feel it lands, and that's why
for me, it's just taking too long to get there, because it's one thing if it's like 2 90-minute, 100-minute movies, and he's having this 3-part arc. We're at 6 hours now of this guy's story, and he's had 6 hours to change.
I don't care as much about that. I'll be honest with you, bud. Like that.
I don't mind a long movie. I'm saying it's taking too long to get to the point.
Dun dun dun.
I don't mind a long movie. I like a long movie. One of these days, we're going to do Lawrence of Arabia on the pod, and it's going to be fantastic. But it's just taking too long to get that arc out of him. Because I was ready for – he seemed like he was ready to turn a new leaf. Seemed like we were getting there. We'd gotten there, and then they both rescue Spider. They're looking at each other in each other's eyes, and he was ready. And then he was like, wait, never mind, I'm not ready, and jumps off. And it's just like –
well, now we have a time jump. He has some time to himself for the next, call it 8 years.
I need a time jump. I'm ready for a time jump for sure. Time jump. I think a time jump would be the best thing.
I'm assuming we're gonna get a time jump here.
I think
he's gonna be isolated from them for a while. Well, we know he could be ready to go from at the top of the next movie. We'll see. But I do see that if they're trying to set us up for a time jump, that it makes sense for him to be separated from them during that time, as opposed to like we spend 8 years of him like what building a family with them, and we miss that. Like,
yeah,
I think I would have been more forgiving of that ending if I had felt that he had changed more at the end of the third film.
This is awkward.
You know what I mean?
Dialogue. I love him.
No one has worse dialogue than Spider. That guy,
Spider is written like Jesse Pinkman, and I'm not all about it, but I can at least have a laugh about it. You know, I don't dislike it as much as you do.
It's the delivery of the lines for me. I could breathe. I'm like, dude, there's got to be a better way to do that. Oh, he kills me. He really does. And again, he looks the part. He seems like, he's a little Tarzan monkey boy, but it's just his delivery of the lines. And it could be I think it's a combination of the writing and the delivery of the lines. It's tough for me. That's my biggest thing that I can't stand.
He's a big part of my favorite scene of the film. I brought it up to Jack already while Cameron was dealing with technical things. But the scene where Jake is taking him away to deal with him, to do away with him, I think is an incredible scene. I was emotional over that. I was all teary-eyed.
I think I was checked out at that point.
Oh, that's nice. Anyway, I was engaging with the movie.
I'm happy you were.
The raising intensity when he's being pulled away, and Natiri like letting it all soak in that she's going to be responsible for this kid's death. The slow realization for Spider, the pain that the pain of the dilemma that Jake's going through. Like, talk about the conversation about faith in the movie. Then coming back to Awa to ask for the strength to do this. The first time that Spider calls him dad. Then you have Jake admitting that he loves him with all of his heart. The fake out of the kill. The emotional three of them coming together when they realize that they can't do this together. Every beat hits so hard. I think that's the maybe best scene of the whole franchise.
So here's my thing. I felt that the setup wasn't there for me.
I think you were just checked out because the way Justin explained it, and I mean, yeah, because Ann Natiri, she has a nice arc that's nice and in that one story,
Sure.
and it didn't take 6 hours to tell it. She hates white people. Or what does she call them? Pinkies or whatever she calls them?
Pink skin, I think she says.
She hates them. She can't stand him. She can't stand this kid. And then 2 hours into the movie, she has a revelation where she's like, wait, hold on. It's not his fault. He's never done anything wrong. So she actually did have a nice, complete character arc there. And I think Justin makes a big point where I think it is a good scene. But again, Spider's acting doesn't do it for me.
It didn't there at least for me.
Did you love me, Dad, or do you love me? I just feel like his
that line did get me. I do got to say that line did get me at that moment. That was a hard hitting.
It's I can buy into that scene and why you would like that, and the fake. I actually thought he did kill him there for a second. I said, "Oh boy."
Yes.
I said, "Oh boy, that's not good."
The answer is yes.
I said,
to
"That's
that
not
question.
good." So I can buy
This
it.
movie is just unlearning racism.
The problem, this movie is just unlearning.
There might be other things that happen in the movie, but
yeah, and then
This plot line is about unlearning
the problem
racism.
is after that we fell into this same okay, let's go hunt all these whales, which we had already done. We've done this, and that was my problem. Is like, okay, we're finally starting to touch on new stuff, but then now we're falling back into this safety net of let's go hunt whales.
listen,
It's the whale time.
I do think that the first like 2/3 of this movie are incredibly strong. And the last third, I agree. It's not. I'm not as into it. I do like the way that some of these stories are wrapping up on the more personal character level during that time. I love how we have our breakthrough with Kiri alongside Spider and Tuck in that revelation scene.
Tuck's the man. He's the man.
Yep.
Love that guy.
I'm not crazy about doing more of the water stuff, but once we add the crazy weird gravity lift thing and the battle on the rocks, like once we jump to that, I'm like, okay, I'm back into the action again more so.
That was cool. Sure.
But yeah, during that time we're also dealing with a lot of falling out of like all the emotional stuff that we've been building with Jake throughout the film, where he's trying to put away faith and put away this legacy of his. I like how we spin that back together at the end. It's satisfying. It's fun. I listen. I had a good time. But I already said that. And I get it. We did whales last time. We did a.
Is it because maybe I was expecting higher, that I was just underwhelmed? Is that what this all could be?
I think
that could be that.
That is an experience that you have that I don't usually experience.
It was the expectations that I had that were so high. That was my problem with Fantastic Four too. I had these crazy high expectations, and it just didn't meet my expectations, and that was my problem with that film. And that was probably my problem, probably with this one as well.
I feel like I just have trouble I have trouble empathizing with that because I feel like I don't experience that often with movies. Maybe I'll experience the reverse of like I'm expecting nothing and I like it better as a result, but I don't. It's not often I.
But in all honesty, that could be reasons why like one battle did not do it for me, because I feel like I heard so much coming into it, and then it just did not deliver what I thought.
The movie in front of you.
And then maybe it's the expectations. I'm putting too high expectations on a film, right? And that's fair. I don't know, but like I feel like because like I don't have this all, like I have it the reverse as well, where like Everything Ever All at Once is that movie for me, where it's like I watched it before it was big and thought it was the funniest movie of all time. I loved it.
That was my problem with that one. I had these huge expectations because it beat some really good movies for Best Picture. And then when I saw it late, and I was like, oh, this didn't meet my expectations. Had the opposite experience this year with Hamnet, because I always feel like Shakespeare films get a little fluffed and everybody loves them so much. So I went into that with low expectations, and I loved that movie. So
we'll see. I mean, I'm excited to see it next month.
It can go both ways. But I think, like what Justin said, you should engage with the movie in front of you and try to go in with as little expectations as possible, which in this digital age where everything's in front of you on the internet is tough.
But I don't even think the digital age is the issue here.
Hard to
like.
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
The digital age is what's inundating you with opinions and thoughts ahead of time.
Right.
But I came into this knowing that it's like I think
I'm talking more about one battle than this movie.
Sure, but my expectations for I think one battle expectations came from Jack and Jack alone.
I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Also the fact that Jack came into one battle saying to me, "This is the best movie of all time." By the way, having not seen it yet.
Well, no, I said it was going to win Best Picture. I didn't see Best of All Time. I said it's going to win Best Picture before I even saw it, and I stand by that. I still think it's going to win Best Picture. So
I'm never going to let go of the fact that you allowed someone to raise your expectations who
For a movie
didn't
that
see
had
the
two-
movie. That's your fault. Your
Maybe
fault.
that just shows how much I trust Jack's opinion on
That's
film.
not Jack's opinion. It's
Well, it's my pre-opinion, so
okay.
It
Then
no,
say
it
that.
is an opinion. It
Language
is Jack's
means
opinion.
something, so use
it is
it
an opinion.
accurately.
I mean, I used this empirical data I had. It's PTA, it's Leo, it's Benicio.
Yeah, that's fair.
Probably gonna be pretty good.
And
Although
listen, if you're
I don't
citing
put a
that, I
PTA as
understand.
high
If
as
you're
you do.
citing
So
someone's
You're not a PTA
someone
guy. You're
else's
not.
expectations, that's different.
he can go either way for me. He's not my favorite of all time, and like that's fair. I will concede that like PTA doesn't always do it for me, and that's cool.
He's not my favorite of all time either, but he's certainly up there. My current favorite is Yorgos. I think he's the best.
Who I also feel can sometimes be a tad overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe. I just like because his movies are not like anyone else's movies.
Sure,
They're
like,
just so different. And recently he's not as good. Obviously, I'm a big Ridley Scott guy.
Sure.
He had a run there where he just put out like some like when he did like Alien, Blade Runner, and what did he do right after that? He had 3 movies in a row that are just insane. Thelma and Louise.
Gladiator.
Oh, Gladiator. Thelma and Louise is so good.
Yeah.
But some of his newer stuff isn't,
But like, we're having the same issue with James Cameron now, where like James Cameron had a couple of really solid films, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know. I think about. I feel like I think about James Cameron, and I go, well, he's had some really good films, but has every film of his been a hit? I don't know.
No, True Lies is weird. That's the Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Yeah.
who's the lady from A Fish Called Wanda? She's in Freakier Friday. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
It's Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold Schwarzenegger. That one's kind of weird. Aliens is good. Both Terminator 1, Terminator 2 are really good. The Abyss.
Titanic.
The Abyss is like good for a little bit. It drags. Titanic. Jimmy's got the sauce, but he can definitely be hit or miss. And the first Avatar, I hold in high esteem because of what a spectacle it was.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of it for me is if I think back on James Cameron, and I equate James Cameron with George Lucas a lot in a lot of ways. Because I feel both are amazing storytellers of worlds. If you look at what George Lucas has done, if you look at what James Cameron has done, both of their strengths lie in the world building of their worlds, both on a macro and micro levels. Yeah. I feel their dialogue can be something to be desired. Their casting choices can be hit or miss. And I feel their stories can sometimes feel a little repetitive in nature. But they both are really good at building really cool worlds.
Yeah, Willow. I mean, Star Wars, obviously. Yeah,
but even Indiana Jones is a George Lucas
absolutely
a story creation, and I think
Spielberg
brings a lot of great things to it.
That's more grounded in reality.
Sure, but
still, no, I'm with it. I'm with it. I see what you're saying here,
and I think part of my issue is I'm trying to put James Cameron into a box of a director that he isn't, and I do not see him winning Best Director in this film. Nor do I see a lot of people. Nor do I really feel that a lot of technical awards will be won with this film because I think this is a very big technical year as well.
Yeah,
I think there's a couple other films this year that are technically a lot, like also really strong.
I am excited that the only chance Wicked has of awards is technical awards.
You don't think it's gonna win Best Original
No, didn't it get casting nods?
I think it got shortlisted for casting, but I don't think it's going to.
I think the cast is as strong a suit in this film.
No, I mean, you know how my feelings on Wicked. It's not good. It's in fact.
No, the story isn't great, but I think that the acting is tremendous. I think Arrivo and
I think there's better ensemble casts this year for sure.
Maybe. But well, yeah, I mean.
Did you see Neytiri throughout the entire movie? You go from grieving to injured to furious with life. to the big save Jake and Spider sequence. She's so cool. She's so
cool.
cool.
She's cool. She's
cool.
almost as cool as the Fire and Ash lady.
It's cool seeing them go head to head. They're like the coolest two characters.
They
It
are
was
in
really
fact,
cool.
They
Yeah.
are in fact the coolest two characters, and I'd like to see more of her.
I think all the women leaders in this film are really cool, to be honest with you. Like
the
even
general. You love the general lady.
I think she's cool.
I do like.
But I'm also talking more about the
Don't be rude. Like you take the win. Come on. I was.
That was a good line. That was a good line. Take the win. It has its moments.
And then she did.
It has its moments. Yeah, which to her demise, because that was a terrible idea. She was right the first time, making them leave, because that was the only reason that Neytiri was able to infiltrate in the first place. I did like, and Neytiri had a great arc because she didn't want to use modern technology, and then she decided that she needed to be able to adapt, and she had a fantastic arc.
Right.
Now I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I love you. The bad news is we are about an hour in, and it's time to rate
that
movie. I have
this
a
is
crying
really
baby downstairs, and I need to go take care of that. So I have to be real here. I gave this movie 3 stars, and I didn't give it a like. And I think that's probably because of my expectations were too high. But I have to stand.
How did you rank this movie higher, but I rated it higher?
I gave it 3 stars, no like, so it's a 6 out of 10 for me.
Right, but then you gave it a B rank.
Is it a B?
It's an A.
I don't know. A 3 is basically a B. I guess you're right. It is kind of a C.
I gave it a 3.5.
This is why rating is stupid.
And ranked it lower on the tier list than you did, which is why I'm confused.
Well, you and me have weird ranking systems that aren't consistent. So that's what it is.
I really like this movie. I think I have my gripes with it. I feel like a lot of films that I rank between 3.5 and 4, I have the most issues with, because I feel that a lot of my ranking then comes down to, or somehow, the movie that I thought it was going to be, or the movie could have been. And yeah, here we are. So 7 out of 10, love it. I
love it.
Avatar 4. No, love the ranking.
Oh, he loves the ranking.
Enjoyed the movie. Have my issues with it, but
we'll be
If we actually heard any positives about it from Cameron this entire time for a movie that he liked.
I said I did like the world building. I like the wind people. I like the fire and ash people. I like Kiri's storyline. These are all things that I've already said.
Were you even listening, Justin?
Were you even listening, Justin? How dare you?
I don't like to listen. That's on me.
All right, Justin.
Yeah, see. Shut up, Justin.
Shut up, Justin.
Listen, I wanted to engage with a conversation about things in the movie, whereas the majority of this conversation has been, philosophically, I think James Cameron X, Y, and Z, and I'm like,
God forbid we touch on the existential thoughts of the movie.
I want to talk about the movie.
We'll let the people see the movie and decide for themselves. I like these overarching themes and thoughts, because at the end,
I like that too. I'm talking about the more meta conversation about the expectations going to, and like those are fun conversations too. But I wanted to, I always want to talk more about. Remember that scene?
Well,
that was awesome.
When we do Avatar 4 in 2 years, I'll make sure that I write down a list of my favorite scenes and the funniest scenes, and I will describe them in detail.
Top 10 moments of Avatar 4. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for joining us. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you. Well, actually, if you're watching this recorded, we'll see you on Christmas.
We'll see you on Christmas. And then also after Christmas, don't miss the Oscar show. It's going to be a banger. I've got thoughts.
That's for another couple months, but that's okay.
Good.
Very good.
Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Bye. Bye.